Hello, and welcome to a Believing Heart podcast, a podcast about video games and the like. I'm your host, Mario8th. Find me across the internet at Mario8th everywhere. I'm on Twitter, Tumblr, ggapp.io if you want to see the video games I'm playing, and I'm also on Co-Host, which is an app I don't actually use, but I'm there. If you want to find me there, maybe I'll start posting, who knows. Anyway, right at the start, I want to ask, do you have a PS5? Do you have PS Plus? Do you have a copy of Deathloop for said PS5? Please help me. Please help me. Please help me. I am not good enough to get the Platinum Trophy, because I need to be able to off other people also playing the game, and I am bad at first-person shooters, so I need someone to come in and help me get these last two trophies so I can get the Platinum. And you'll get them too. I'll let you get them too. I just need someone else, and it bugs me so much just having one. It's like 97%. It's bugging the heck out of me. Please help me. Anyway, this week has been a very big news week. There were quite a few stories I wanted to pull beforehand, and then Gamescom Opening Night Live happened today as I'm recording this yesterday afternoon-ish, when this posts, and I'm going to go through and read all of that. So first, here is the news. Gamescom Opening Night Live just happened, and Geoff Keighly is still not the best host. I get why he is the person to do it. He's the one who built up himself and put on his bootstraps and did the work to become the host of all this stuff. He spent years getting the Game Awards to the point where it currently is, and I get it. He's the one who did the work. But he also doesn't need to be the face of the show anymore. I just don't like him as a host. Anyway, at Gamescom Opening Night Live, they announced a lot of stuff, including Everywhere, which is an NFT crypto type meta game, and it didn't trailer good in the slightest, and and then afterwards when it came out, it was going to be one of those crypto metaverse type games. It's like, oh, okay, get out of here. I don't need you at all. They also announced a Dunk open world game MMO. Okay, I read Dune for the first time this year, or last year. I read Dune for the first time last year, and I liked it. I liked it quite a lot, despite, the problematic stuff that the author... my bookshelf is too far away, that the author wrote. It was a pretty good book. I understand why people like it. Am I going to play any of the games based off of it? Probably not. I haven't even gotten around to watching the 1964 movie just yet, which I wanted to after I read the book. Still haven't gotten to it. I'll probably do it right around the time the sequel comes out. Anyway, Dune is good. The Dunk Awakening video game, it was only a cinematic trailer, but I mean, I'm sure for people who like that sort of thing, it'll be fine. Sony also announced a new controller. I just bought a pink PlayStation 5 controller, and I like it a lot, and I don't need to customize it to the Elite equivalent. So sure, if you're into that, that's cool. Callisto Protocol got another in-depth trailer. That's just not a game for me. I don't like the spooky stuff. I especially don't like the gory stuff. And there's a lot of gory stuff in this video game, and it's just not for me. But, I mean, if you like that sort of thing, which a lot of people do, then heck yeah, it looks great. You can force push people into giant spinning grinder fan things, and if you like that, it's cool. And then you can also get caught in a fan and chopped in half in a very gory fashion. No thanks. Oh yeah, a new... Oh my gosh, I forgot it was called this. New Tales from the Borderlands, the sequel to New Super Mario Bros. U. Okay, it's another one of those Telltale, is Telltale actually making it? I'm not sure, but there's another one of those. I've never played any of the Borderlands. I tried playing the first one. I really liked the art style back in the day, but my computer wasn't good enough to play it, and I didn't have anyone to play it with. And then they kept making more of them, and then the humor started becoming grating to me. And so a lot of people liked that first Tales from the Borderlands, and the new one, I'm hoping, is good for the people who like it. In the same way, I'm not going to play the Callisto Protocol. I'm also not going to play Dying Light. When it comes up later, I'm also not going to play Dead Island 2, but hey, Dead Island 2 is actually being released in February. Who would have thunk? That game was in development hell for so long. Although during the presentation they said the current team who's working on it was only doing it for 4 years, which is average, and they started from the top, taking over the previous team who worked on it, so it makes sense it's only coming out now, but wow, it was a long journey to get there. Sonic Frontiers world premiere is... It's world premiere. I guess it's the story trailer. Geoff Keighly's thing with world premiere is silly. Another reason why I think Geoff Keighly maybe shouldn't be the host. Anyway, the Sonic game is probably going to be bad. Like most Sonic games are bad. I probably won't play it. But I'm happy for the people who are once again hyping themselves up for the Sonic cycle. Apparently, Quantum Dreams is not just ruining Star Wars with their untitled Star Wars game, they're also making another game that's probably going to suck called Under the Waves. Anyway, Quantum Dream makes bad games, Quantum Dreams is a bad company to work for, and David Cage is a horrible person, so screw all of that. Goat Simulator 3, the sequel to Goat Simulator 1. It'll be silly. I never played any of the Monkey Island games, although I hear fantastic things about them, and there's a new one, so that's cool. Oh, it's coming out real soon, September 19th? That's a month less than. Wow. I hope it's good. I hope all these games are good, except for like the racist ones, like the Quantum Dream ones. I'm skipping over a game called Moonbreaker, skipping over a game called Friends vs. Friends. Some of these I missed because a work issue got in the way, because I was watching this while at work and I had to do a little bit of work. Don't tell my boss, please. And I think I saw the very end of the Friends vs. Friends trailer. I don't really know what it was about. I think it had card games and it was a shooter or something. Anyway, Lies of P, the Pinocchio game, is weird. People have been referring to it as like a Bloodborne type game, and that's just okay. There's another open world game. Started out cool, some fun space crashes, and then it's like, oh, it's gonna be a survival game, so cool. No, I'm not into it. Atlas Fallen World, is that the one that looked sick? Let me double check. Yeah, Atlas Fallen World. I think this one looks sick. It's a weird alien-looking world, except maybe it's just a monster-type stuff, and there's big weapons that go shooting all around. It was mainly just a CG trailer, I think, but it looked really cool. Hopefully that turns out to be a good game. High on Life is a game by Justin Roiland, one of the writers, performers, both, behind Rick and Morty. I liked the first 2 seasons of Rick and Morty when I watched them. I did not like the Rick and Morty fans. I disliked the Rick and Morty fans so much to the point where I haven't wanted to go back to Rick and Morty since then. And yeah, some of the jokes are funny, but this gameplay segment looked boring. Like, the shooting looked not substantial. I'm already not a first-person shooter guy, but it just looked really spongy. And then the gun is talking to you the whole time, saying quippy dialogue that's not great. I'm sorry, this game's just not for me. Even when they brought out the cool grappling hook that reminded me a little bit of Boomerang X. But no, it's not going to be as good as Boomerang X. It's going to be too annoying to be as good as Boomerang X. I never watched the Expanse television show, but they're making a game. I think it's a prequel from what I intuited by the trailer. Sure. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game. I guess. I bet I've heard the term Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I've never seen it, so sure, it's a game, I guess. Where Winds Meet World premiered, it looks like it, and it looks sick. There were some pretty immaculate vibes at the start. I'm stealing that quote from Waypoint, who I didn't actually watch Gamescom live. I watched Waypoint watch Gamescom opening night live, and it makes it much more enjoyable for me. But Where Winds Meet World looked really cool, like a Ghost of Tsushima type game, except much more fast-paced and fantastical. As soon as I saw the main character running over water, I was sold. I'm very excited for this. Can't wait for it. And then I mentioned earlier on, Dead Island is coming back, and that's great for Dead Island fans. But again, it's not a game for me. It's a goofy turn on zombies, much like the one where you photograph them. Dead Rising? I think it's Dead Rising. Dead Rising, yeah, it looks like it's in similar vein as that. Probably different gameplay. I don't think there's going to be like a time mechanic. It looks more like a story-based thing. But I mean, if you're a fan of Dead Island, sure. And that was Gamescom opening night live. I wasn't really expecting there to be anything for me specifically, and I was right. There wasn't. That's just not the type of gamer I am. In comparison with the previous Geoff Keighly show, Summer Game Fest, the presentation itself sucked. But the indie showcase that happened right after Day of the Devs, I think, was fantastic. And so many of those games I want, whereas during the main presentation, none of the games I wanted. And I guess this presentation was a lot better paced than the Summer Game Fest. But there wasn't the indie thing afterwards to give me stuff I actually wanted, and that was a bit of a bummer, but I also wasn't expecting it, so what are you gonna do? Alright, and that's it for Gamescom Live. Up next, Masahiro Sakurai, the creator of games such as Super Smash Bros., and I think he also worked on Kirby quite a bit. What did I write? Sakurai said his last goodbye to Smash Ultimate and also uses his Switch dock wrong. So apparently, I don't actually follow him, but he's been posting pictures from his dev time on Smash Ultimate daily since December 2019. And on just the other day, let me find the date, August 17th, he posted, no, not August 17th, August 22nd, he posted his final photo of just the Smash ball. And it kind of feels like this is the end of Sakurai's tenure with Super Smash Bros. He was really hinted at not wanting to come back again because those games just take out so much from him, and this really feels like this is the end. Also, on the 17th, he tweeted a picture of him and his Switch dock, where most people put their Switch docks sitting down where you put the Switch in on the top. Sakurai has him lying down where he slides it in, and the screen is facing up. And he said you're probably not supposed to do this, it's like bad for the Switch, but he does it anyway, and it's weird, I guess. It's funny, I just wanted to bring it up. Now, in Gamescom Live, I didn't mention it, but Embracer Group mentioned a lot of different things. And the other day, August 18th, they put out a post saying they're embracing a whole bunch of stuff, including the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit literary works by J.R.R. Tolkien. What? 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 Why are they... What? I love The Lord of the Rings. It's one of my favorite books. I read it just a couple years ago, and I love the movies too. Not the Hobbit movies, the Lord of the Rings movies. It's really weird to me that it's owned by the Embracer Group now. I mean, I guess. Why? Why do they need that? They have it now. Why? Moving on. Cartoons are good and also not viable anymore unless they're Japanese, I guess? So I'm reading this from the Gita Jackson article on Vice. Everything sucks in streaming animation right now. And so if you've been paying attention to the animation world, Netflix, after they lost money because Netflix's business model is going down to the stream, the first thing they did was they cut a whole bunch of animation projects, and that sucked. But at least people who go to Netflix can still watch them. Now, HBO, after they've gone through their stupid merger with Discovery, they're cutting everything. And not only are they canceling a bunch of animation projects and cutting a bunch of other movie projects, like apparently the Batgirl movie, they don't even have the footage anymore. It was deleted off of their servers. That movie is just dead and gone. Terrible. But they're also physically removing animation projects off of HBO Max. Animation projects that could only be watched on HBO Max now are gone entirely. You cannot watch them anymore unless you pirate them. And that is horrible. The idea of streaming was so you can watch everything with ease, and now, if I want to watch, say, Infinity Train, which was on my HBO Max list for a long time, because I did want to go to it, it was the only thing on my watch later list. Now if I want to watch it, I'm going to have to pirate it and watch it on VLC Media Player, because Discovery decided to cut everything for tax purposes. It's just so awful. And the weird part is, and Gita Jackson wrote this in her article, Japanese anime has never been bigger. And I don't know what the difference is. Why do execs think US Americanized animation will do terribly and they can't have it? And then other companies like Sony are buying Crunchyroll and Funimation, and they have never been more popular. The biggest movie this week was the new Dragon Ball movie. The biggest movie in the theaters was the new Dragon Ball movie. But then we have HBO Discovery over here saying, Warner Discovery over here saying, oh, but American animation is trash, garbage, absolutely useless, cut all of it for tax purposes. I just got a dust storm warning. Haboob. They're called haboobs here in Arizona. I think it's the Native American word. Boob. It's just fun to say. Alright, moving on. Star Wars KOTOR is not dead. Yet. Now this is really excited for me. I've heard great things about Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. And when they announced that the remake was coming on one of the PlayStation events sometime in the past year or so, I was excited because I was definitely going to play it. I love Star Wars, but the Star Wars video games have been a really big blank slate. I haven't played really many of them. The only one I can really point out is like the Lego Star Wars games and Jedi Fallen Order. So a huge gap in my Star Wars fandom, I guess. I don't like calling it that, but I guess that's what the best descriptor. Anyway, I never played Knights of the Old Republic, and I was really excited for it, and I was heartbroken when the previous team who was on it basically got kicked off. Asper Media had been building it, but after their vertical slice was pushed out to the people who are looking at it, they basically canceled the project for them. It just wasn't good enough or whatever. And I was heartbroken, because to me that meant, oh man, are we never going to see this remake? That sucks. But Jason Schreier put out August 22nd that Saber Interactive is now going to be taking up the project and working on it for the next few years. And it's like, well, first, it does suck for the previous team, but me personally, I'm glad this Star Wars game is going to continue seeing the light of day. Now, should I just buy it on like the PC and play it there? Because I probably could just play it. Yeah, but I want to play the remake, and I'm happy that it's still alive. Now, in movie news, why is there a Gravity Rush movie? Maybe let your Japanese studio make games again, Sony. Please, I'm begging you. I bought Gravity Rush for the Vita when I had a Vita years ago now, and I lost the cartridge in a bad happenstance. But I remember liking what I played, and every once in a while I still think about going back. Whenever Wario64 tweets out that the PS4 version of the first two games are like $10 each, I always really want to buy it, but it's money, and I already have so many games that I want to get to that it doesn't make sense for me to continue buying more and more and more and more. But I really like the game. And I also like games that are like that, where the studios get to try something weird and interesting. It's a thing Sony doesn't do anymore. They closed down their Japanese studio. They only put out these big, either big open world Horizon likes, or these big narrative Last of Us likes. And they're not my favorite types of games. I want the more experimental stuff to also be allowed to be on there. And it's kind of like a kick them while they're down, like a spit in the face to be like, we're not going to allow you to make fun, interesting games anymore. but we will mine the fun, interesting game IPs and make them into more movies, so hopefully we can make some profit along the way. And it's just weird to me. Like, Sony, please, I'm begging you, make the fun games again. Don't just make movies for it because that's your latest venture capitalist venture. I'm also personally looking forward to the Knives Out sequel. It got a date, December 23rd. I think it's a Netflix original, but it's also coming out to select theaters. I don't know, I liked the first one quite a bit. I'm excited for this one. Will it be as good? Maybe not. Will Daniel Craig still be fun to watch? I bet he will. And that is it for the news. As for what I've been doing, it's kind of exactly the same as what I've been doing for the past few podcasts. I am still playing Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm playing it a lot. I think I've gotten over the hurdle for sure this time. I'm still really annoyed by a lot of it. The writing is bad. I even got to a point where one of the text documents starts out with, "Well, that just happened." And I sat there aghast because I couldn't believe someone would actually write that. They seriously wrote, "Well, that just happened" in a document. How do you do that? Anyway, the writing itself is just bad. I think I figured out why I don't like Aloy. Her story seems to be discovering what happened in the past. And I think it would have been better if she started out religious, like just as religious as her parent figure, and then as she learned more, became more of an atheist agnostic. But she started out as an atheist, and it just feels wrong. I don't know. As far as the game goes, I'm liking it. I finally started buying better armor and weapons and actually upgrading them properly, so I'm having a good time. I think I'm about 40% of the way through. I'm hoping to finish it by the time Tunic comes out sometime in September. I think the 17th. I think I can do it. 100% complete it, other than the New Game Plus stuff. We'll see. I'm also continuing to watch Better Call Saul. Such an amazing show. I've got 2 seasons left, and all I will say is Saul has done nothing wrong. Lastly, going back to HBO Max for a little bit, the Rehearsal finished airing this week, so I won't be talking about it anymore, but it was fantastic. Oh my gosh, what an amazing show. Nathan Fielder is a genius. I am so happy he's getting a season 2 of this show. I just cannot wait to see what he does with it. The premise alone is really funny, but he has just been doing so many great things, like talking about the show, like commentary on it, commentary on these types of shows within the show. It is truly masterful. I'm so glad we got a season of it at all, and I cannot wait for season 2. And that is it. Thank you for listening. I'm at Mario 8th everywhere if you want to see me. If you would like to do the general YouTube stuff, go ahead and do it if you'd like. So like, sub, comment, I don't know, that's up to you. Any documents I talked about are going to be in the show notes, so you can click on there to find all the links that I'm at, as well as any of the news articles or tweets in this case that I talked about. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time.